Hey there, my dear friend. How are you? I hope you're having a wonderful day, week, month, wherever it is that you're at. Welcome to my coaching corner here on YouTube. My name is Sabrina Militello. I am a coach and owner of Empower Her Coaching, and I want us to have this conversation today around the productivity routine that every high achieving woman needs, in my opinion. Now listen, I've grown 3 businesses. I've lost over 100 pounds and maintain that weight loss. I've got really great quality relationships in my life. I've been able to show up in various areas of my life that require my attention, whilst also building and scaling those businesses. And I know that that's a struggle that you have. You have all these dreams, all these hopes, you have these ambitions. You want to be living that vision board life that you've envisioned for yourself, right? But then there's all these other things that show up for you throughout your day. Where your time needs to go, where your energy needs to go, where your attention needs to go, and the dreams start to fade. The ambition starts to fall by the wayside. The things that you want to create for your life start to take a back seat a little bit, right? Because of all the things that you need to be for all the people. I want to share with you my productivity routine that has allowed me to show up in my life in the ways that I need to, in the roles that I have, but then also create room and space and intentionality and urgency around showing up for the future that I'm building to. You ready? So my number 1 productivity routine that every high achieving woman needs is you need my PSP process. We're going to get into it. So my PSP process breaks this one routine down into 3 component parts. You have to have a routine for planning, a routine for self, and a routine for progress. So if you're looking underneath the umbrella of productivity, falling underneath that is a routine for planning, a routine for self, and a routine for progress. So we're going to talk about each of these a little bit. So my routine for planning, I put this in here as something that is exceptionally important when it comes to managing your energy, managing your attention. And notice that I didn't say managing your time. I think time management is a little bit of a myth because we've all got the same amount of time. We've all got different levels of obligations. We've all got different ways in which we're going to prioritize how we use that time. But the time as an entity is all the same, right? So it's not so much about managing your time. It's much more about managing your energy, your attention, and yourself. Managing where you're choosing to spend your time, managing where you're allowing your energy to be sucked in, managing where it is that you're allowing your attention to be taken. That's much more of the path of the conversation that I want us to take, right? So when I say routines for planning, I want you to really think about, do you intentionally plan out your months and your weeks? We're just going to take months and weeks in this conversation. Your weeks and your days. We're going to take weeks and days. I've got ideas for monthly planning, quarterly planning, yearly planning, all of that, and we can talk about that if that will serve you. But let's break it down into planning your weeks and planning your days. Do you do that intentionally? Do you spend time intentionally at the end of every week planning for the next week? Do you spend time intentionally at the end of every day planning for the next day? Here's what I do as somebody who has built 3 businesses, like I said, who is scaling those businesses to higher and higher heights, who is also a wife, who is also a homeowner, who's also somebody who very much pays attention to what's happening inside and in here, and that takes a lot of time and energy. I want to share with you what I do, what my routine is. So every Friday, I block off about an hour in my calendar to plan for the week ahead. And in that planning session for the week ahead, I use a specific planning tool. It's called the productivity method. You can just Google that and you can find that. I use the digital version and I plan out my day. So for Monday next week, what are my appointments? For Tuesday next week, what are my appointments? Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, what are my appointments for those days? And I put them into the planner, into the piece of the platform that allows me to order those things. And then I think about, okay, so what in each of those days, what are must-do activities? I own my own businesses, like I've said, so there's various things that I need to do to show up for my clients, to show up for some customers, to create content, to troubleshoot in the background, all of these kinds of things, support the people that I'm here to serve. So there's certain things that I do every day of every week, pretty much. So I plot those things in. Okay, when is this happening? When is filming of this content happening? Am I filming for YouTube on this day? What appointment do I have this day? What particular live broadcast do I need to do? Is there some content that needs to be created? Is there a blog post? Is there a whatever? Like, I really look at what needs to be created and what needs to happen the next week, and I plot it day by day. So Monday we'll have a list of things to do. Tuesday we'll have a list of things to do. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, right? And then I also plan my social media content for the week ahead. I actually plan for 30 days out, but I give myself that weekly review time to make sure, okay, this is still something that I want to talk about. This is still something that's relevant. Maybe there's a nuance that I can place in here where it was a little bit more of a blanket idea of what that needed to look like. Can you see what I'm saying? So as a content creator, that is part of my scheduling. I also plan in when my workouts are going to be. I plan in where I'm taking time for myself. If my husband and I have a date night, if there's anything that we're doing on the side, I put those things in to my calendar. So I plan out my days. I plan out my social media content each day, Monday to Friday of the week, right? I also have a place in that planning where I write out what is my top priority for my business professionally this week, and what are some three basic ideas about how I'm going to bring that to life, right? So what's my big professional goal for this week, and 3 basic ideas of how I'm going to bring that to life. And I do the same. What is my big personal goal for this week, and what are 3 ideas that are going to bring that to life? So I have that front and center every time I look at that plan. So I have my full week planned out. And like I said, I do this on Fridays for the week ahead. Block out about an hour to get that done. The last Friday of the month, I give myself a little bit more time because, like I said, I plan my social content about 30 days for the whole month, right? So I do that at the end of the previous month, so that takes a little bit longer. So making sure that you're giving yourself adequate time when you schedule these things so that you're not chasing your tail all the time, because I think that's part of feeling overwhelmed, part of feeling unproductive, is that you're not actually allocating adequate amount of time to do the things you need to do, and so you're rushing and you feel in this state of panic often. So make sure you do that. And then, so that's my weekly plan, and then at the end of every day I plan for the next day. I time block. I'm a big time blocking person. I firmly believe in time blocking. So tonight, I will time block my day tomorrow. I'll look at that weekly plan I created, look at all the things for Wednesday, and then transfer them into my daily plan with times allocated to each of those tasks. And for me, that has been a massive productivity hack, if you want to say it that way, because allocating dedicated times in my calendar, in my schedule to get things done, it releases some of that overwhelm that you might get, or that anxious kind of feeling that you might get, especially when you have a lot to do, a lot on your plate. Because you're always thinking, okay, what else needs to be done? What else needs to be done? I can't forget this. I can't forget that. What else? Whereas if you know that you've got a system, you've created a routine for yourself where every task has an allocated time slot, now you're not thinking about it. You just get to the next time slot, look at what task is next, it gets done. The next time slot, task, it gets done. And it's an incredibly simple way to free up some of that mental load and ensure that you are staying on track with everything that you're wanting to do throughout your week, throughout your month, throughout your year, right? So that is my productivity routine for planning. Number two, you have to have a routine for self. Are you scheduling in when you're going to get workouts done? Are you scheduling in when you're meal prepping, if that's something that you do? Are you scheduling time to eat throughout your day? One of the things that I always used to get stuck in was forgetting to eat or not having time to eat, right? And I see my husband doing this even now because he hasn't quite got used to the whole working from home situation yet. So he will book himself in meetings back to back to back all day, and he gets to like 4 o'clock and he hasn't eaten all day. And then he's wondering why his energy and his attention and his brain space just isn't there. You have to make sure that you're remembering you need sustenance, you need hydration, you need a bathroom break every now and again, and schedule those into your day. Now, I'm speaking specifically to women maybe who work from home or you work for yourself, to make sure you're giving yourself those breaks and those moments. But even if you're in an office environment, are you scheduling time for yourself to go and take your lunch? Or are you somebody who gets stuck eating your lunch at your desk while you're continuing to work through? It makes a massive difference when you give yourself these pockets of brain break time, even if it is just 30 minutes that you can go somewhere else, change your environment, have something to eat, take a breather, and then come back and get back into your workflow once that's done. So are you making time in your schedule for that? Are you allocating time for rest and recovery? That's a big one. And not just saying, okay, Saturday and Sunday, those are my rest days, but really throughout the week, are you giving yourself these pit stops? Are you allocating time where you're journaling, you're meditating, you're listening to some good juju in your ear, you're taking a walk, you're giving yourself some brain breaks, you're giving yourself some self-care time? It's important that these happen throughout your day, not just what you intend to do at the weekend if you get time, okay? So having routines for self are vitally important, and have them on your schedule. Just like I time block, like I shared with you, I time block my appointments and my tasks, and when I'm filming or creating content, or when I'm, doing this thing or the other, I also have time blocked in my schedule when I'm working out that day, when I'm doing my personal growth practices that day, what time I'm getting up and doing some stretching that day, because that is insular in my routine, is really getting solid around the practices that I need to have on a regular, repeatable basis to operate as my best self. I'll tell you a secret, give you a little peek behind the curtain. The first 2 hours of my day are about me. Now, I know not everybody has that flexibility. You've got children running around, you've got a job to get to, and it's crazy hectic for yourself in the morning. But what could it look like if you gave yourself the first 30 minutes of your day that were just for you? The first hour of your day that were just for you? How much calmer, how much more peaceful do you think your day could start if you weren't getting up and injecting yourself straight into the chaos of beginning a new day? So think about that. Are you scheduling time? Do you have routines in place for your self-care practices? Exercise, good nutrition, and then time to rest and recover and introspect a little bit. That's super important. So we had routines for planning, a routine for yourself, and the final one is routines for progress. Do you have routines in place for the things you need to do to move your life in the direction of where you want it to go? We get stuck in the minutiae of life. I know that. You've got all these dreams and ambitions like we talked about at the beginning, but everything else seems to interject and get in the way and push you out of alignment with the things you need to do to progress in the ways that you want to. What are you going to do to combat that? Because here's something I know. Hope is not a strategy. Hoping things will change, hoping that maybe one day things won't be as crazy, is not a strategy for your forward progress. If you are somebody who works a 9-to-5 job, or maybe you work outside of the home for somebody else, or maybe you work inside of your home for somebody else, but you have the ambition to grow something or build something that's just yours, Maybe you have entrepreneurial ambitions. Maybe there's a side hustle that you're wanting to start. Maybe it's something as simple as crafting out more time to have a hobby and do things that fill your cup back up. Hoping that there'll be time to do that, that you'll have the energy to do that, is not a strategic process. You have to create a process for your forward progress. I like that sentence. Okay, so what could that routine look like for you? I know that when I'm looking at my vision, my big life vision, one of my routines for progress is that I reverse engineer my big life vision. So for example, if you've got a vision of what you want your life to look like, I don't know, in 20 years, maybe you have a vision of what you want your retirement to look like. You're picturing this perfect day in your life in that time frame, right? In order for that to become your North Star, for that to truly be pulled into your reality, everything you do needs to be towards that, right? I think a lot of people get stuck setting goals that are very arbitrary. Setting goals for the sake of setting goals that sound good or that's what you should do, rather than thinking about, what do I want my life to look like? What do I want my life to be like? What do I want my life to feel like? And set goals in the direction of that. It's a novel concept, but it's incredibly powerful. So what I do is I have my big life vision, and then I set goals for 5 years from now. I want to be living that life vision 5 years from now. So then I have my picture in my mind of what my life looks like in 5 years. I set 3-year goals. So 3 years from now, what would have had to happen for me to be 2 years out from living that vision? Where would I need to be in 3 years' time in order for that vision to still be, I'm still aligned with it in terms of the time frame, right? And then that's where I set my yearly goals from. I set my yearly goals at the end of every year. I set my goals in like end of October, beginning of November for the next year coming. I look at that big life vision. I look at that 3-year mark and think, okay, what needs to happen this year for me to be aligned with that? And then I set my monthly goals in the direction of those yearly goals. I set my weekly goals in the direction of those monthly goals. So I reverse engineer everything from that big life vision I have, so that I know that everything that I'm doing on a daily, weekly, monthly, yearly basis is in the direction of that vision. So maybe that's a new routine you can create for yourself for your progress. It doesn't have to look like that though. Just think about, what is it that I want most, and create a routine that is geared towards or in the direction of you achieving that. That's vitally important. Too many people spin their wheels on arbitrary tasks and things that don't really matter. And then they get, 3 years down the line and they're like, what have the last 3 years actually brought me? I'm still in the same place in my finances. I'm still in the same place in my relationships. I'm still in the same place in my health. Here we go again, another year. No. I shared a quote yesterday, and it said, don't live the same year 75 times and call that a life. What we do is how we're living. What we're doing on a daily basis is our life. So have routines for your progress in order to be living the lifestyle that you want to be living. All right. So routines for your planning, routines for self, and routines for progress. This is the routine process, the mindset routine, the productivity routine that every high achieving woman needs to have. The PSP process. Take it, adopt it, use it for yourself, and let's get some things popping off here, because you deserve to live a life that you're in love with, free from the stuckness and the frustration and the defeat because you just can't seem to break through. I believe in you. It's time that you do too. I hope you enjoyed this. Please give it a thumbs up if you did. Consider subscribing to this channel. I would absolutely love that. Come and share with me what you took away from this. If there was an aha spark for you, if there was a moment where you need more clarity on how to do something, I'm more than happy for us to discuss it in my DMs, in an email, wherever it is that you want to find me. I want to help you continue to progress forward. Consider sharing this with somebody who needs to hear it too. Until next time, take care.